We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.
Time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly, and with me this time around is Jennifer Benson. She's an author, she's a podcaster. Tell us a little bit about both before we get into the topic. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Oh, thank you so much, Noreen. So my book is called The Impossible Shift. It is a memoir about my life growing up as a bully. So it's called From Mean Girl to Meaningful Life. And
Okay.
A lot of people that have read it have said they find it very interesting to come from the perspective of the bully. They said usually, memoirs come from the other way. And I said, yeah, it's a little embarrassing to admit that I was the one that was the problem. No one wants to admit that. You're always the hero in your own story. I said, but sometimes you have to come face to face with some hard truths in order for you to make meaningful change.
And the podcast. What's about the podcast?
So the podcast is a bunch of short stories because I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. So they're like 6 to 10 minute long stories, and each story has a little bit of a message, but it's crafted in a story format because stories live long past we do.
I like that. I like that. Stories live. I love that. I love it because that's actually true. All right. So what we're going to be unpacking this time around is turning pain into purpose through self-perception shifts. So tell us, because I literally got this from your profile. So tell us where your headspace is, why pain into purpose, and then the self-perception bit. So let's break it up into pieces and then put it all together.
Okay. So when we think about our pain, so oftentimes we find ourselves so the biggest thing is external stuff happens. Like we tend to think of these things that happen to us as the end of the world, and we can't get past it, and it's a block, and it's the reason why our lives are so miserable. But every single person on this planet has bad things happen to them. It doesn't matter what walk of life you are, where you are financially, literally, it doesn't matter. We all have things that happen to us. External things happen. And the key difference between those who overcome and persevere and those who don't is those who overcome and persevere are the ones who choose to change the way that they look at that situation and change the way that they choose to respond to that situation. So I like to use an example that's very simple because almost everyone can relate to it. So you get into a car accident. What's the first thing that you think, right? You got into a car accident. Car accidents are almost unavoidable, right? You think, I did everything I can. Now, a person who looks at the world as the world is against me will say, I spilled my coffee. This, douchebag rammed into the back of my car. Now I'm going to be late for work. My boss is going to chew me out. I'm going to get docked pay. Now my wife or my husband is going to nag me when I get home. The kids are going to be screaming, and the whole day is ruined. All day ruined before it even started, right? Because of this incident. And they haven't even stepped out of the car yet, right? They haven't even assessed any of the damage yet. They're still in the car. Now, the next person, same thing, car accident happens, spilled the coffee. They say, "Oh, man, that coffee hurt. That's unfortunate. Gonna have to buy a new cup of coffee. Maybe I should go check and see what happened. Check to see if the other person's okay." They get out of the car. They say, "Hey, are you okay?" The other person says, "Yeah, I'm fine." They said, "Oh, thank goodness. Let's go ahead and call and make sure everything's fine. Doesn't look like there's that much damage. I think this will be all right. Let's change insurance and go about your day." They handle things. They get to work a few minutes late. They explain what happened. They move on. Has their day been ruined, or was it mildly inconvenienced? Now, the first person, their day is ruined. It's completely ruined.
Yeah.
And the same exact scenario happened. The circumstances were identical, but the results were entirely different. And the results were entirely different because one person's frame of mind was, all of these things are happening to me. I am the victim. There's nothing I can do to control this. Why is this happening to me? Where the other person said, this happened. I can't control that this happened, but I'm going to buy myself another cup of coffee because I need my coffee. I got to get to work. I'm running a few minutes late. Let me make sure this other person is okay before I keep it moving. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to talk about is when you have agency over yourself, you recognize that life's going to happen. Things are going to happen. It's not the absence of problems or the absence of circumstances. It's how you choose to look at those circumstances and look at those problems and say, what am I going to do differently in this situation that makes my life better?
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race.
My name is Jennifer Benson. I'm an author, and welcome to The Break.
Hey! Welcome to Inside Media, streaming innovation, amplified. Body to body, idea to idea, feel the signal come alive. Welcome to Inside Media, turn your living room to sky. If you feel that spark and free up, let it move you. Don't ask why.
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splinth Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplint.com. Splinth, the brand you need to succeed.
Hello, my name is Mason, and I want to share with you my journey with Noreen Daly in my communication coaching sessions. As I went through the sessions with Noreen, I was able to recognize my strengths in communication. Some things I didn't recognize that I would do, she was able to unearth and allow me to recognize that these are some strengths that I had. I did have some weaknesses which I was challenged to overcome through research, reviewing other public speakers, and being able to sit before a camera and to speak to an audience, an invisible audience. It was fun, and as a coach, she was patient and she gave good feedback, and she was able to give me the insight into communication as to how to best use my skills, my natural communication strengths to be engaging as a speaker. And I would recommend anybody who seeks to become a more competent communicator to enroll in her program. Reach out to her, and I believe you're going to enjoy the journey as much as I did. Thanks.
And we're returning from the break.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race.
Don't you think, though, that a lot of it has to do with how we've been socialized? And I think this is literally across cultures. So pain is seen as it's purely negative. There is
Yes.
nothing positive. Because when you think pain, you hear sermons on it, you hear people talk about it.
Yes.
It's negative. It's always something that is supposedly supposed to make you bitter and even stronger. That's the narrative you hear all the time.
Absolutely.
How then can we help people to change that? To literally turn it into something that's purposeful.
Well, and that is the thing, because back in the I guess the old, like far long before,
Mm-hmm.
they used to believe that pain made you stronger. There used to be that understanding that
Mm-hmm.
with pain comes wisdom, because there
Mm-hmm.
was an understanding that it forced you to look past that physical moment, that physical discomfort, to look inside yourself to find the strength. But today we teach avoid pain. Pain is the
Mm-hmm.
enemy. Pain
Mm-hmm.
is something that you should fear and feel
Mm-hmm.
guilty about having, because
Mm-hmm.
if you are experiencing pain, you're experiencing the worst possible thing.
Yeah, and it's some
But
sort of punishment.
and it's a punishment. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're being punished, why are you being punished?
Mm-hmm.
Now again, you're being punished because did you do something wrong, or are you just a victim? And I keep using the word victim because I think our society is trying to train us to believe that we have no control over our lives. We have
Yeah.
no agency over
Mm-hmm.
who we are as human beings, that we need someone else to come in and say, I'll save you. But the reality is, you can save yourself. You take that pain that you feel, that emotion that is a part of you, because pain is a part of us, and allow it to build you and strengthen you from the inside, and say, this hurt me. When that relationship ended, that I held on to for
Mm-hmm.
however long it was, when it ended, that hurt me. But I'm just going to get stronger from that, because I learned how to love from that relationship. And not in the way of I'm never going to love again because I
Yeah.
want to avoid the pain,
Mm-hmm.
but the next time I love, I'm going to be more mindful of who I choose to give my love to. I'm going to give my love to someone who is more worthy of the love that I have to give, so that when I share my pain with that person, they are deserving of that shared pain, right?
How how did you get to this point
Oh, through lots of
of
pain.
deciding that okay, that you wanted to be on this path and to help people to help to make that self-perception shift? How did you get to this point?
So honestly, I had been writing a journal that I was keeping to myself to kind of help me process some of my childhood trauma. And I shared it with my mother. She was a very focal point of the childhood trauma, because she was a very focal point.
Mm-hmm.
And, her and I had always had a very challenging relationship, but I tried very hard to look past it and see the woman that she was becoming rather than the woman that she used to be,
Yeah.
and find a way for us to grow, because holding on to the past wasn't going to help us move forward into the future. So one
Mm-hmm.
day we sat down, and I told her that I had been writing this journal, and she asked me to read it to her. And I started reading it to her, and she started crying, and I felt really bad, because I was like, man, she must really hate it because it doesn't say nice things. I was kind of mean in what I wrote. And so I started crying because I felt emotional. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the end, she was like, you've got to print this and publish it, because the world needs to
Wow.
see this story. And I was looking at her very confused, because I was like, but this doesn't paint you well. And she said, but that's my cross to bear. The world needs to see this. And I could not believe what she was saying. And I refused. I actually refused at that time. I didn't publish it. I didn't wait until 6 years after she passed away. Uh, and then 6 years after she passed away, I published it on the anniversary of her passing, as a way to show that I honored her and her sacrifice, to say, go ahead and
Do
share this
this.
story. But it did take me a long time because it's very personal and nobody wants to put their business out there where it's like, hey, look at me. It's this terrible person.
Do you think to a large degree it will take persons, because I do believe with age comes a certain level, for the most part, comes a certain level of self-awareness. And with that self-awareness, that is when people are more open to doing all of that shifting that you're recommending. Do you think somebody listening or watching this should say, okay, it will take some time, I have to wait till I get older, or do you think that shift can literally happen over time, regardless of your age?
I
And that's what
think
I'm
it,
asking.
yeah, I totally get what
Okay.
you're asking. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I think it can happen at any age. So, and I
Okay.
can give you an example, right? There was a 17-year-old that I met, and I was responsible for teaching him like at a work thing. He was assigned under me to work, and he didn't know kind of which direction he wanted to go. So I was kind of mentoring him unofficially.
Mm-hmm.
And um it was interesting because he got to the point where he was kind of afraid to talk to me because every time he talked to me, I challenged him with something and he didn't know what to say. So one day he said, I don't know if I want to talk to you because every time I talk to you, you challenge me with something. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to feel about it. So I was like, if you don't want me to talk to you, that's fine. He goes, no, I want you to talk to me. It's just I want to be able to say something that I've accomplished. Like I feel like I want to be able to come to you with I did this. And I said,
Okay.
"Oh, I totally respect that, but you don't always have to come with me with I did this. You can come with me with regular things too and then have those I did this moments. Those are good too. Just keep thinking of those in the background. Have those times and have those goals that you set." And so one of his first goals was to, get a full like he was doing part-time. One of his goals was get a full-time job. He got the full-time job. Then his biggest goal was to move out of his parents' place. And so it took him about 3 years because he admitted that he was very comfortable at home. He's a Gen Zer. He was like, my generation, we don't leave. We just stay home. I said, you shouldn't admit that out loud. He was he said, was comfortable, I have everything I need. I was like, I totally get it. He's like, but I want
Mm-hmm.
more. And so when he finally got his own place, he immediately reached out to me and he was like, I got my own place. And I said, how does that feel? He says, it feels incredible. He said, I still go over to the house to eat dinner because mom cooks great, but I got my own place. And I said, there you go. You got your own
Nice.
place. And you still
Nice.
go to your house to
Nice.
eat dinner because mom cooks great. And that's okay. And he said, one day I'll make my own dinner. But for now, I'm still going to go to mom's place to eat dinner, but I got my own place. And that to me says growth doesn't matter. It doesn't have an age requirement. It has a requirement of, do you want to make the change, yes or no?
With all of you said, if it literally went over somebody's head, what is the one idea you want to say? If you got nothing else from this conversation, this is the main idea. This is the crux. This is it.
if
What is it
if
you
every
want
if
them to get?
everything I said went
Mhm.
over someone's head, I
It,
I
it's
would
possible.
it is possible. It
Mm-hmm.
is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I would say um sometimes you can be your own worst enemy because you allow a narration in your head that tells you I can't. And you let that tell you I can't every single day and you believe it. And we all have it. I have it. I know. It tells me every single morning I can't get up because I have a very bad disability and there are days when I can't get up and it tells me you you suck. You're a burden to your family. You can't get up today. So they don't love you anymore. We all have it. But the key difference between hearing those voices that tell you those things is whether or not you're going to listen.
Mm.
You hear them all day, you know? Are you going to listen?
Excellent note to end on. Thanks for sharing, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
This was Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Miriam Daly. Until next time.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication.